and now we are looking forward to type 3 problems. Type 3 problem is, when will be the minute hand and hour hand will be perpendicular to each other between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. So minute hand and hour hand will be perpendicular to each other when there is a gap of 15 minutes between them. How? Let's see. Suppose this is the position of minute hand and hour hand. So this is the angle of 90 degree. This is the case when it is 3 o'clock in the watch. Okay, so there is a gap of 15 minutes between the minute hand and hour hand, and the angle is 90 degree. Okay, so from this simple example we can conclude that when there is a gap of 15 minutes between the minute hand and hour hand, the angle between them is 90 degree, or both are perpendicular to each other. So in this problem, when there is a 4 o'clock, there is 4 o'clock, the difference between the minute hand and hour hand is 20 minutes. Okay, so minute hand has to gain 5 minutes. Okay, so that the difference between them will be 15 minutes only. Okay, so now difference is 20 minutes and minute hand has to gain 5 minutes. Okay, so there's a formula to gain minutes. If you want to gain 5 minutes, this formula will work for you for gaining 5 minutes or any value. M is the minute you want to gain. Okay, so we want to gain 5 minutes here, so we will put the value in the formula and we will get our answer. We want to cover 5 minutes. Okay, so guys, this is our answer. After 5 upon 11 minutes, the both hands will be perpendicular to each other. So when this minute hand will be somewhere here, the both hands will be perpendicular to each other. But there may be a second case also. After passing the hour hand, it will again at a difference of 15 minutes after some time. So in that case also, the difference between the minute hand and hour hand will be 15 minutes. Okay, so let's see the second case. So in second case, the minute hand will again be perpendicular to the hour hand when after crossing the hour hand, it will again gain the 15 minutes. Okay, so in order to do that, minute hand has to gain these 20 minutes first, then after crossing the hour hand it has to gain 15 minutes more. So it has to gain 20 plus 15 minutes. So we can say minute hand has to gain 35 minutes in order to be at perpendicular with the hour hand. Okay, so we will again put the values in the formula into M. Now in this case we have to gain 35 minutes. 60 into 35 upon 55. Now we will solve this. This is our answer, 38 minutes 2 by 11. Okay, so this is the type 3 problem. Now let's see the type 4 problem. Type 4 problem says that when will the minute hand and hour hand will be in a straight line between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. What is the meaning of a straight line? It means that minute hand and hour hand will be in single line. Okay, it will happen when the difference between minute hand and hour hand will be 180 degree, or we can say 30 minutes, because in watch 12, 6, 3, 9, this difference is 30 minutes. Okay, so minute hand and hour hand will be in a straight line when there is a difference between minute hand and hour hand will be 30 minutes. Okay, we can say that difference must be 30 minutes. Okay, so now let's solve the problem. When it is 4 o'clock, this may be the situation. Okay, so the difference between the minute hand and hour hand is 20 minutes. So to be in a straight line, the difference between minute hand and hour hand must be 30 minutes. Here difference is 20 minutes. So after covering this 20 minutes, it has to cover 30 minutes more. Okay, after covering 20 minutes, it will be on hour hand, then again it will cover 30 minutes, then it will be in straight line. So firstly it has to cover these 20 minutes, then after coinciding it has to cover 30 minutes more in order to be in straight line. So minute hand has to cover 50 minutes, and the formula is 60 upon 55 into m, and minute hand has to cover 50 minutes. So we will put the value in the formula, 60 upon 55 into 50. Again you will solve the equation. So answer is, after 600 upon 11 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand will be in a straight line. To clarify this type 4, let's take another example. Suppose instead of 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the question, it is, when will the minute hand and hour hand will be in a straight line between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Suppose the question is this. Okay, so when it is 8 o'clock, situation may be this. In watch, so the difference between the minute hand and hour hand is 40 minutes. Okay, in order to be in a straight line, the minute hand and hour hand must maintain a difference of 30 minutes, as I told you earlier. So now the difference is 40 minutes. So minute hand has to cover 10 minutes. Okay, after 10 minutes, after covering the 10 minutes, the difference will be 30 minutes, and these two hands will be in a straight line. So the difference is 40 minutes. Minute hand has to cover 10 minutes. Okay, again put these values in this formula, you will get the answer into 10. You will solve this. You can further simplify this, but I am leaving it here. Minutes. So after 600 upon 55 minutes, the minute hand and hour hand will be in a straight line. Okay, so this is the type 4 question. Let's see the type 5. This is the type 5. When will be the angle between minute hand and hour hand will be 60 degree between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. In second case, when will be the angle between minute hand and hour hand will be 84 degree between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Okay, so let's see how to solve it. So guys, just recall that in previous video I told you in the beginning that minute hand covers 6 degree in 1 minute. Minute hand covers 6 degrees in 1 minute. So we will use this conclusion in these types of problems. Okay, so let's take the first case. So when will be the angle between minute hand and hour hand will be 60 degree between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Okay guys, so let's see. Minute hand covers 6 degrees in 1 minute, so it will cover 60 degrees in 10 minutes. Okay, this is very simple calculation. Minute hand covers 6 degrees in 1 minute, so it will cover 60 degrees in 10 minutes. So when there is a gap of 10 minutes between minute hand and hour hand, the angle between the both hands will be 60 degree. So it says between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. So when it will be 3 o'clock, the hands will be in this position. There is a gap of 15 minutes here. There is a gap of 15 minutes when it is 3 o'clock. Okay, so according to the question, we need to maintain 10 minutes gap, and here the gap is 15 minutes, so minute hand has to gain 5 minutes. Okay, in order to keep the distance 10 minutes only. Why 10 minutes? Because when the difference between minute hand and hour hand will be 10 minutes, the angle will be 60 degree, which is first. So minute hand has to cover 5 minutes in order to maintain 10 minutes this difference. Formula is again the same. Minute hand has to cover 5 minutes because the difference between these two hands at 3 o'clock is 15 minutes, but we need to maintain 10 minutes only, so minute hand has to cover 5 minutes. So 60 upon 55 into 5, 300 upon 55 minutes will be our answer. Okay, you can further simplify it as I told you earlier. So let's see the second case. When will be the angle between minute hand and hour hand will be 84 degree between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Okay, so minute hand covers 6 degrees in 1 minute. Okay, so it will cover 84 degrees in how much minutes? इस साइड में हमने मल्टीप्लाई किया है 14 से, बिकॉज 14 6 जा 84, तो इधर भी हम 14 से मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे. ओके, सो मिनट हैंड कवर्स 6 डिग्रीज इन 1 मिनट, सो मिनट हैंड विल कवर 84 degrees in 14 minutes. So we need to maintain the gap of 14 minutes, sorry, in order to maintain an angle of 84 degrees. Okay, so the question says between 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock the position of hands will be like this. They are in a straight line. The gap between minute hand and hour hand is 30 minutes. Okay, and we have to maintain the difference of 14 minutes in order to keep the angle 84 minutes between the both hands. So now the difference is 30 minutes. We have to gain 16 minutes in order to maintain a gap of 14 minutes. Okay, now the difference is 30 minutes and we have to maintain the difference of 14 minutes, so we have to gain 16 minutes. Okay, I am repeating again and again so that you can understand it better. If you are not a beginner, you can always increase the speed in YouTube video so that in less time you will learn more. Okay, so we have to cover 16 minutes in order to keep the difference 14 minutes. Okay, so 16 upon 55 into 16. Now we will solve 960 upon 5. So after this much time, the difference between two hands will be 84 degree. Okay, so this is the type 5 question. So it is all about the clocks. Next series will be mensuration. I hope